Hey everyone, welcome back to a new video of Task Planner. In this video, we'll be creating the UI of our front end. Right, so before starting this video, make sure you have completed the backend module. You have seen all the backend videos and also you have implemented your own backend. So in this video, we'll be creating a beautiful UI, and in the next videos from this video, we'll be integrating the UI, that is integrating the front end with the backend. So here what I'll do, this is my Task Planner folder. So here I'll be simply creating a new folder for front end, just like this. And here let's go under front end, and here I'll be simply creating a new Flutter project. So let's say Flutter create task planner front end. Yeah, just like this. So simply do this thing, enter the following command, and that should be it. It should be making an entire project. Let's wait for it. Let's go under task planner front end and open it under our VS code. Right, so we have got our project up and ready. We have got a cute little main.dart file. So now first thing first, what I want to do, I want to simply run the following project over to my iOS emulator. So till it's learning, let's wait for it. Cool, it's there. Right, so we don't require our command line tool. Let's delete that. And now as soon as I load it up, we have to simply run the following application to our iOS emulator. Right, so I'll do it in the background till the following thing is loading. You can grab your popcorn and view an amazing UI. Cool, so our application now is up and loading. So what I'll do, I'll simply make this thing somewhat bigger, right, just like this, and also extend our VS code so you can see a better picture. Right, so now you can see we have got a boilerplate code over which after tapping this button, I should be able to increase the counter. Right, so what I have to do now, I have to simply remove the entire code. Yeah, I'll show you a new way of writing your boilerplate application. Right, so let's delete everything, and here I'll be creating a new stateless widget. Right, so let's create a stateless widget known as core. Right, under this I'll be creating a new material application, just like this. Let's say the debug check mode to be false, and here I'll be having theme, alright, theme data to be theme, alright, something like that. I don't know the proper name for it. Yeah, it's theme data. It's theme data dot dark. Right, so once this is done, we should be also requiring a home. Right, so for a home, under my folder structure, I'll be creating a folder for all the views. I'll be creating one more folder for all the shared files, right, and I'll be creating a folder known as app where we'll be storing our fonts, colors, etc. and etc. Right, so now under my views, what I'll do, I'll simply create a new view. So here I'll simply call this view to be home.view.dart. Now this is not a complex project, so the folder structure will not be that complex. But if you want to follow architecture, you can follow MVVM, MVC and other than that. Right, so to keep the things simple, because the main motive of this project is to show you how to integrate your backend with front end. Right, so here under my home view, I'll be getting a new home view just like this, and here let's have a scaffold. Yeah, so here let's have a constant scaffold as it is referring us. Yeah, just like this. So now if I go under my home, I'll be able to fetch my home view. Right, so let's make it constant. Yeah, so this should be it, and here it should be my core, right, my core widget. And under my test, we don't require test for now, so let's delete that thing. So here under my scaffold, we shall be requiring bunch of things here. So let's go back and let's refresh everything now. Let's hot start it because it should be requiring hot start. Cool, so now you can see we have got our blank scaffold. So now what we have to do, we have to simply go under our entire project structure, and what we have to do, we have to simply add some fonts. Right, now I have already prepared some fonts and some of the assets for our entire application. So I can simply drag it and drop it under the following folder. Right, so I'll simply copy the folder, and here I will be having all the fonts. Right, so now once you have got the fonts, don't worry, I'll link the fonts in the description box. You can take it from there. So right now what I'll do, I'll go under my puffpay.yaml file and I'll get certain dependencies. Right, so first of all, what we have to do, we have to take certain dependencies. So let me show to you all the dependencies that we will be requiring. Let me open my Chrome. Let's go to pubdev. Yeah, just like here. And here, first of all, we should be requiring a package known as awesome widgets. Right, so we should be requiring the following awesome widgets to get already built some components. Right, so simply paste it here. And after this widget, the next widget we shall be requiring is easy API. Right, so simply at easy API, copy the following easy API link and paste it here. Right, after this, what we require is a widget known as sizer. right? So let's go back and let's get the sizer widget as well, just like this, right? So with the help of sizer widget, we should be able to, create a responsible application, right? So once we have done this thing, the last API, like the last package we shall require is cache manager, right? Because we also have to handle some of the cache, so that the data we won't keep loading again and again. So let's copy cache manager and paste it here, right? And last but not the least, for the navigation, we'll be using Fluoro. So if you don't know Fluoro, don't worry about it. I'll be explaining how Fluoro works and how you should be using Fluoro as well, right? So let's copy the path, that is the structure of Fluoro, paste it here. And lastly, the last thing we need is a intl package. So let's simply add intl here, and that's it. This should be all the requirements for now. After this, what we have to do, we have to also add custom fonts, right? So what you have to do, you have to simply copy all the path of your fonts and paste it here, right? So let's delete the boilerplate and paste our fonts here, right? So simply press Ctrl and S, and we should be loading all of our data, right? So we have faced all the things, and also we have got our font, right? So what we have to do now, under our home view, we have to create a beautiful UI, right? Before that thing, I have got a bunch of boilerplate code, right? So I'll simply paste the boilerplate code for you as well. So right now, under my app, what I'll do, I'll simply paste my boilerplate structure, right? Under my boilerplate structure, first of all, you shall be having the following API routes, and secondly, we should be having all the app routes, right? After this, we should be having a shared folder under which you'll be receiving bunch of colors, fonts, text styles, and theme, right? So simply copy the following app folder from the description box, and that's it, right? So once we have got this thing, let's start designing our home view. So basically, under our home view, what we require is majorly a list of all the tasks, right? So what we can do, before having that thing, we should be also designing our floating action buttons, right? So here what I'll do, I'll simply add a floating action button for a row, right? We should be having a row as a floating action button, right? Under a row, there will be a bunch of things, right? So here under my row, what I'll do, first of all, let's add a constant constructor. You should, Flutter keeps crying, right? After this, let's have a main axis alignment. For main axis alignment, dot space, or not space only, but center, right? After this, what we require, let's remove the following constant variables. We don't require that right now. First of all, the first child will be taken from our button. So right now, what I'll do, I'll simply add here a new button. So here I'll be simply adding here an awesome button, and under the awesome button, we can simply add a rounded icon button, right? On tapping over it, it should be doing nothing for now, but it should be having a title of create, right? And also it shall be having an icon. So here I'll simply say an icon of icons.add. Easy. Let's have a color for our icon. So here the color will be constant color.white. Now you should be able to fetch the k constant colors file to get all the custom colors, right? So now let's add a constant icon, because it won't be then reloading again and again, right? So now you can see we have got a cool little button here. After this button, we have to simply add some styling to it. So here let's add a title text style for k constant text style, and here let's add a text style from bold. The font size will be 10, so let's add a 10 one, right? So right now you can see there is no effect on font here. That's because we need to hot restart our entire application, right? So to do that, what we have to do, we have to simply close the application for now and open it again, right? So till this thing is loading up, what we can do the next is add some dimensions to our row, right? So here I'll be simply adding a dimension of a container. So let's add a container of width of 200, right? Let's add a size box, doesn't matter, right? So we have a size box of width of 200. After this, we have got the first rounded icon button. So here let's add a button width. So here the width shall be 200, right? So this should be it. After this, we shall also add some border radius. So here let's add a radius of 25, right? Now let's wait till the application is loading up. Now once you have got all the following dependencies, we are good to go. So now what I'll do, I'll show you the explanation of how you can use Easy API under your entire modules, right? Now if you have bought the following UI kit, you must be seeing the following code, but if not, let me explain to you about how the code means. First of all, we will be having our app folder. Under our app folder, we will be having all of our common things, right? Common things, for example, routes, all the shared items, and under shared items, there will be fonts, color, text style, etc. and etc. Right? After that, under modules, first of all, I have one common module called as home. Home contains nothing but simply the home page of our application. right? So what I'll do, under my home folder, I will be creating a new folder known as repository. Now under this repository, I will be creating a new file, right? So here I'll be creating a file known as task.repository.dart, right? I will be creating one more file here. So here I'll simply call task.network.dart, right? So first of all, we can go under task network and I will create a new class known as task network. Now this class will be directly interacting with our backend, right? Now what I'll do, I'll simply extend the following class with our easy API helper. Now the easy API helper will be automatically imported from easy API. We have to hover over it and create a common constructor which will be providing here a base API URL, right? Now what we have to do now, we can simply move down and I will be start creating some of the function for us, right? If I go under task service, you can see under task service we will be having bunch of methods, for example create task and fetch task, fetch archive task, delete task, etc and etc, right? So what we have to do, we have to create the same functions here as well, right? So here what I'll do, I'll simply create a new function. Let's say future create task, right? Now the future will be asynchronous, so let's make it asynchronous. Now what we have to do, we have to go back under our routes folder and here I will be creating a folder, not a file, called api.routes.ts, not ts but dart, right? Because it is a Flutter code, so it will be having an extension of dart. And after this, what we need is a class known as API routes, right? And under API routes, what I'll do, I'll create a static constant variable known as create task route, right? So this will be our create task route and the following value will be nothing but slash task slash create. Now how do I know this? Because if I go under my task controller, you can see you will be having a create task route here, right? Not task but create task, right? So now this is our first route. I will be creating my second route which will be fetch task, right? It will be nothing but fetch. Similarly, I will create all the following routes. Cool. So I have created all the following routes here, right? So we'll be using our routes to fetch or add some data, right? So what I can do, under my create task function, I'll simply say return send post request, right? Because for creating a task, we are using our post method of HTTP, right? Now here the route will be nothing but API routes, right? API routes dot create task route, and the body will be nothing but the body of our entire function of our task service. Under body, we shall be requiring these parameters, right? So let's go back and here I'll be simply adding the body, right? So we'll be requiring task title and task description, task schedule that, and all of these things, right? So let's add a colon here, right? So what we can do now is under task title, what I'll do, I'll be simply creating a new DTO, right? So how the DTO will be performed, I'll be creating a new DTO. Let's say create task DTO. Under this create task DTO, I'll be simply adding a final string of task title. Similarly, I can copy this and I'll simply say a task description, task schedule that, and task category IDs will be a list of integer, right? So now we have to create a constructor for it as well. So let's create a create task GTO and I'll be requiring all of these parameters. So now once our DTO is created, what I can do, I can say my create task will be requiring create task DTO, right? So now what I can do, I can say create task DTO dot title, task title, and here we shall be requiring description, and here shall be requiring schedule that, and here we shall be requiring categories, right? So these are our function will be working here, right? We'll be sending a post request to this route having this body, right? So this is how you can create, that is, we can send a post request or any sort of request with the help of easy API. So I request you to all to use the easy API and share this with your friends as much as possible, because yes, I have created that utility for you, right? So I have got the fetch task method, What I'll do, I'll copy the following method and paste it once, and here I'll say fetch tasks, right? And now I won't be requiring any parameter, so I can simply remove everything, right? So here I'll be simply sending a get request, because our get request performs for fetching the data of task, right? So I can remove the body from this because body is not required here, right? So this is how it is easy to send a get request with the help of easy API. You have to simply provide your route, your body or parameter, and the type of method, right? So I can create one more method here, or fetch archive task, right? So here I'll say fetch archive task, and the route will be, yes, you get it right, fetch archive task, right? So I can write other methods as well. So here I can say delete task. So here I'll be sending delete, that is send delete request, right? So here I'll say delete task, and each parameter is true because we'll be requiring a parameter, and the parameter will be nothing but simply the task ID. So here I'll say required int task ID, right? So let's copy it and paste it here and in the form of toString, right? So this is how thing will be going on. So after this, what I can do, I can copy our create task method for the last time, and here I'll say update task, right? So here under update task, what we can do, we can simply provide here some data that we needed, right? If I visit my task service, we shall be requiring these data, right? So I can go back under our task network, and we shall be requiring this much, these things. All right, let's go back, and yeah, so let's go back, and here we shall be requiring all of these things, right? So what I can do, along with the create task GTO, I can say I'll be requiring int task ID, right? So now what I can do, I can say I'll be requiring task ID instead of task categories, right? So here I'll simply say I'll be requiring task ID, just like this, right? So let's copy the proper spelling and paste it here, right? So this is how it is easy to create an send a update request, that is send a put request. You have to simply write your send put request and a body, right? And here the method name to be update task route, right? So this is how you will be creating your network class, extending this with an easy API helper, right? Now I hope you have learned how to create a boilerplate task network. Now after this, what we'll do, we'll be creating one more class which will be helping us in parsing our data, right? So to do that, under my task repo, what I'll do, I'll creating a new class, and I'll say this class name is task repository, right? And this thing will be extending with a utility known as easy model wrapper, right? So under this thing, first of all, I'll take the input from our task network. So for that, I'll say final task network, right? So let's create a constructor for it. So let's say task repository, and here it will be requiring this dot task network, right? So now what we'll do under this class, we'll be creating some boilerplate functions. So let's say create task function. It will be requiring a DTO, that is data run for object. Where I'll say create task DTO for a create task GTO. It will be async method, so let's make it asynchronous, right? So under this method, what I'll do, I'll say return decoder. I will only use this thing, and under response, I'll say await task network dot create task, and we shall be providing our values. Now our decoder will be decoding the entire data. It will be adding its JSON encoder and decoder logic behind the scenes, and it will give us plain string value of the output, right? So this is how it is easy to decode data with the help of easy model wrapper. After this, what I'll do, I'll copy the following method name, and I'll say here the second task, that is second method will be called as fetch task. Now we won't be requiring any method and also any functions, right? So here we can copy this, paste it here, and I'll say fetch archive task. Copy that, paste it here. After that, copy it one more time, paste it here, and here I'll say update task or something like that, right? Update task function, and under update task function, we shall be requiring first of all an integer of the task ID, right? So here I'll simply say task ID, and required the create task DTO for a create task DTO. Similarly here I'll say task ID is task ID, and create task DTO is a create task DTO. right? And finally we'll be getting one more method, and the method name will be known as, yes, you guessed it right, delete task, right? So to delete that, let's copy the following this thing and provide our task id. We won't be requiring our DTO, right? So we won't be requiring a DTO. So this is the boilerplate thing that we'll be using. Now what we have to do, we have to simply write the following amount of code, and as the video is going quite long, we'll be continuing this part till tomorrow, where we'll be adding state management to fetch and update all the data. Till then, please use the easy API package. Also let me know the feedback over easy API package. Right, so till then, have a good day. Goodbye.